Smithsonian does a bird-friendly coffee program, so they've been on the show.
Right.
Yeah, that's very cool. Thank you. Speaking of the show, welcome to the Coffee People podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You're living it.
There you go.
Could you tell everyone who you are and why you're here at CoffeeFest and what you work for? We'll try that again.
Thank you for having me. So my name is Miguel Flores. I'm a green coffee trader.
Okay.
I work with one of the companies who has a very old and rich history in coffee. The company's name is List Beisler. It's two German last names. We've been around for 125 years. We sold Pete's their first bag of coffee. We sold Starbucks their first bag of coffee. We invented cupping as a mechanism to identify high quality coffee.
You invented cupping?
Yeah, in 1940s. So
I'm assuming that wasn't you. You're not
company.
like immortal or anything,
No,
are you?
not me.
Okay.
But lots of history. Why was I interested in this role in particular?
Yeah.
You don't grow up as a little kid to, I want to be a coffee trader. That's not something anybody says. But my dad, I was born and raised in Honduras, and my dad owns a coffee farm there, and his goal was to try and sell coffee to importers for a very long time. So, I would spend some summers, doing some farm work, helping around. It was always in the family, and there was always this mist of, the shroud of mystery around importers. And I was always curious, why is it so difficult? My dad has this wonderful coffee on the farm, but it's very hard to get to an importer to sell coffee to them directly. So being on this side of this desk, I now understand the risk that importers take when they bring coffee in, how trust in their partners and their suppliers needs to be there. This business, it works on trust, right? Yeah. There needs to be trust between everybody for it to work.
So here, the thing that came into my head, is the coffee farm still in your family?
Yeah, it still is.
Amazing. If you're on the farm side of things, what are things that people can do to make you attracted to an importer? How do you get that relationship started? Say I want to import from Honduras into the US or Canada or wherever, but I'm here, on the farm. I grew up in a farming family. It's hard work. You're busy.
It is hard work, and it's the farmer holds the majority of the risk. Mm-hmm. I think now we're transitioning into a seller's market where there's limited supply of coffee to be had. Yeah. So there's an opportunity to connect more, but it truly is, you have to build relationships. This is truly what the industry needs from every side. You have to build relationships with importers, with roasters, and you have to do things properly. 1 year after the next. What does doing things properly mean? If you contract coffee and then the market moves up $1, but you already have a contracted price, you honor that, you deliver that coffee, you deliver on the quality, and you build your reputation for yourself. But it's a hard thing to do. Right?
Yeah. Well, even the relationship part. As a kid, I always imagined that an NBA scout was going to drive past my house while I was shooting baskets and discover me.
Right.
But that's not how the real world works.
Right.
Also, I hit 5'10" and I stopped. But as a coffee farmer too, how often is an importer going to be driving down the road and see a farm and stop in?
Yeah.
There has to be a give and take to that relationship. I have the product. I need to let you know I have it.
And this is why trade shows like these are so important.
Okay.
Because you're able to at least connect, shake hands, start a conversation, and it's a good opportunity to put a face, to the email, to the phone number.
Sure.
And this is where you start building connections. As silly as it sounds, these exist for a reason, and it's people that do business with each other. They want to connect, right?
I find, so I do a lot of these shows now, and I meet the similar people in the same thing, but you hear a lot of the same stories. But for somebody, it's going to be their first trade show, and the first time they're making those connections, and it just extrapolates out. Do you have an extra minute? I know we're just doing an espresso round here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
you have a unique perspective of being from a farming background, but also on the trading side now. The word sustainable gets way overused. Is that a reality? Is sustainable coffee something that you believe to be a real thing, or is it only sustainable from a perspective?
And this is having grown up in a farmer family, I think sustainability comes from how well you run a business, and the farm needs to be treated as a business because it is a business, right? So it's the comments around the price of the market. It's always been a point of friction. How much should it be? How high should it go? And we're coming off of a year where the markets were at a historical high, highest ever in history, and that year and a half did not eradicate poverty. Why do you think that is, right? So is it truly just higher prices? That's the solution. At the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about, is your farm efficient? Is your farm, are you able to make a living growing what you're growing on your farm? Is coffee the right crop to grow in your farm? Should you be growing something else? Should you be doing something else with your time?
Right.
And these are all very personal questions. It's like talking to a small business owner, right? They need to treat it as a business. So I think education is an important aspect. I think teaching cooperatives how to manage their hedge book, for example, giving them the training that they need to be able to lock in a better price in the market. So it's a tricky thing, right? There's always a tug and pull when it comes to negotiating price, and sustainability is also sometimes viewing an agricultural activity and evaluating if it's feasible.
Sure.
Right? Is it really the best practice?
That's a challenging question, not just from a business standpoint, but an identity standpoint.
Yeah.
Deciding if the thing I've chosen to do or I grew up into is the thing I'm supposed to be doing,
right,
or will support me.
Right.
It's a challenging question.
Right. And this is, again, not trying to paint a pretty picture, but the reality of, because that's a question that we've had to ask ourselves, as we've looked into our own farm. Is it feasible? When you are at an event like this, there's going to be a morning where you get away from the convention, and I bet you stop into a coffee shop. If you were to do that, what do you order? I always like to try their black coffee, whatever they have as their house brew, their on drip, because I think that's the purest expression of what they do, right? So I always think of it as like, if their drip is good, then I'll go explore. Everything else is going to be good too. Right. The same way if I go into a restaurant bathroom and they have one-ply toilet paper, I'm not eating that food because they don't care about their employees. Right. That's just how I feel about it. I really appreciate you stopping by, Miguel. Can you tell me again, how can we find your company, or if there's anything you'd like to share so people can find you guys and what you do? Well, List Beisler has been operating in continental America, for 8 years. So we store coffee in New Jersey, Oakland, California, Dupuis, Florida. You can find us online, listandbeisler.coffee. So great. Yeah. We'll make sure we get people connected. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for the conversation. It was in the comfy chair. We always need a break. I was so excited to see these chairs when I came in. I didn't know they were doing this. Okay.
Normally I'm standing the whole time. And
But this is nice. So, you're able to sit down and have it's inviting. It looks,
it's been lovely. Normally it's hard to pull people in, but I think they see the chair and they're
it looks inviting. Really, that's what
Good.
caught my attention. It's like that's an inviting booth, and then I was like, I like the
good.
the
I'm
merch.
going to hit that little thing so we can just chat.
Yeah.